Hey there, welcome to my review of the Sony ZV-E1 camera. In this video, I'm going to give you a rundown of 5 pros and 5 cons of this camera that you should know before you buy it. Whether you're a content creator, a vlogger, or just interested in high quality cameras, this video is for you. Let's start with the pros of Sony ZV-E1. One of its biggest selling points is its compact size and portability. In fact, it's currently the smallest full-frame camera in the world, weighing just 483 grams with the battery and memory card included. To give you a better idea, my A7IV weighs 659 grams, while the ZV-E10 weighs only 343 grams. If you put on a small lens, it can even fit inside your pocket. What I love most about Sony ZV-E1 is its stabilization. Sony cameras have always had a bad reputation for stabilization, especially when compared to Panasonic. However, the ZV-E1 is different. With dynamic active steadyshot, you can walk while holding the camera and still get stable footage. The camera crops in quite a bit, so make sure you use a wide-angle lens. But now you don't need a gimbal, and you no longer have to process the footages in Catalyst Browse. The rolling shutter is also pretty good, better than my ZV-E10 and A7IV. The footage is usable right away, even when you walk a little faster, orbit around another person, or walk on uneven terrain. Dynamic active steady shot works pretty well even in low light situations, but you do have to use a faster shutter speed while walking in low light. I did a complete stabilization test, so check it out if you're interested. Apart from dynamic active steady shot, there's another similar feature called framing stabilizer, which allows you to keep the subject in the center or at a fixed place that you manually set. You can use this feature while walking. The stabilization effect is pretty good. Alternatively, you can put a camera on a tripod while filming yourself, and you will always stay at the center of the frame even when you move a little bit. Both dynamic active steady shot and framing stabilizer will crop your footage heavily, so before purchasing this camera, you should also consider a wide-angle lens. If you are filming yourself, the lens should be at least wider than 24mm. I would recommend the Sony full-frame 20mm f1.8G lens for its great quality and compact size. But if you want more flexibility, I think Tamron 17 to 28mm f2.8 is also a great option. I will put the link in the description box in case you want to check out for more details. The next thing I love about the Sony ZV-E1 is that it can record 4K 60p without any crop. This is a huge advantage if you want to capture high quality footage with smooth motion. With 4K 60p, you can slow down your footage and create beautiful slow motion shots without sacrificing resolution or quality. Some people might say that when you use dynamic active steady shot or other AI features that this camera offers, the footage will be cropped anyway. But at least you have the option for uncropped 4K 60p. And this summer there will be a firmware update for 4K 120 frames per second. The Sony ZV-E1 also has excellent autofocus capabilities. It uses the same autofocus system as the Sony A7IV, and you have many recognition targets to choose from, including humans, animals, birds, insects, cars, chains, and even airplanes. I'm now testing it with my Tamron 28 to 200mm lens, and in a well-lit environment, it has great autofocus performance, and not bad in low light. This is a big advantage if you are filming content in fast-paced or unpredictable environments. Now let's talk about some of the cons of the Sony ZV-E1. AI framing is a new feature intended to help solo content creators film themselves. So basically, you put a camera on a tripod, you move around within a certain range, and the camera will check you, making it look like somebody is holding the camera for you. You also have the option to choose whether you want a full body shot, half body shot, or a close-up shot on the face. I admit this AI framing feature is creative and interesting, but I don't think it's very reliable. I have tried it several times, and sometimes it worked alright, but other times it cut my head off and the body size didn't match what I set. It might be a good supplementary tool, but I probably won't use this feature at important moments. Another issue I'm not happy about is its performance in low light environment. Don't get me wrong, I think Sony ZV-E1 has great low light capacity since it inherits the sensor of the A7S3, but I just think it's not very user-friendly. This was my concern before I bought the camera. When you use S-Log3, it has two base ISOs at 640 and 12800, which means at these two numbers, your footage will look the least noisy. ISO 640 is reasonable, but I think from about 2500 to 10,000, it looks really noisy. So the better way to deal with noise is to use the second base ISO, which is 12800, and then use an ND filter if it is too bright. With S-Log3, shooting at ISO 12800 plus an ND filter will look much better than directly shooting at, for example, ISO 5000. Personally, I think it is a little bit troublesome. There were several times when I walked on the street at night and I felt like I had to put the ND filter on and off because most of the time I needed ISO between 800 to 5000. So the second base ISO at 12800 is just really inconvenient to me. However, if you are already familiar with the low light settings of the A7S3, I believe this won't be a problem for you. By the way, I will make a separate video about the ZV-E1 low light ISO test, and I will put a link up there once it is published. We also need to talk about photography. I know this is a video camera, but content creators are very likely to need the photography function sometimes. If it is only once in a while, for example, you need to take a cover photo for your YouTube video, then I think the ZV-E1 is more than enough. 12 megapixel might not sound like much, but it's good enough for most social media. So it will be alright unless you're going to print out your photos on A4 size. What really bothers me is that I think it's not very user-friendly because the photo menu and the video menu are not separated. For example, I like to take videos with S-Log3 and take photos with HLG2. So every time I change from photo to video mode, or from video to photo mode, I have to reset everything, including picture profile, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, etc. So if you have the need to constantly shift between photo and video mode, it is just not very convenient. So if videography and photography are equally important to you, I believe the Sony A7IV is going to be a better camera for you. One issue that some users have encountered is overheating. However, I have never experienced this problem because I have never needed to record continuously. Most of the time, I record short clips. I tested the camera by filming 4K 60 fps under direct sunlight at about 28 degrees Celsius, recording short clips for over 2 hours, and I did not encounter any overheating issues. Another drawback of the Sony ZV-E1 is its price. At over 2,000 US dollars, it is definitely not on the cheaper end of the market. Although it has better stabilization, better low light capabilities, and more AI functions than the ZV-E10, which is also an amazing content creation camera, the ZV-E10 costs less than $1,000. Therefore, you really need to consider how much these new features are worth to you. In my opinion, the Sony ZV-E1 is suitable for solo content creators who are looking for a compact camera that delivers high-quality video and audio. This is especially useful if your video content includes a lot of movement that can take advantage of the new features like dynamic active steady shot or those AI tools. However, it is not suitable for hybrid content creators who take both videos and photos, and also not ideal if you require continuous video shooting in warmer areas. To be honest, I prefer my A7IV camera to the ZV-E1, mainly because the ISO thing I just mentioned, and also because photos and videos are equally important to me. I'm planning to make a video comparing these two cameras, and I will put a link up there once it is published. So that's it for my Sony ZV-E1 pros and cons review. I hope you find this video helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.